Hello, YouTube viewers, and welcome to our new YouTube channel, How You Livin' Really. The only channel and show like it on YouTube and the only one in the world.
Jews in America keep putting this idea out there that they are singularly invested in Israel. Eventually, someone's going to come around and take action, not against the state of Israel, mind you, but against American Jews.
Those comments were directed at Democrat Jeremy Moss, who is running for a House seat in Michigan. Jeffries put out a statement saying, quote, "There's zero justification for threats against the safety of our Jewish brothers and sisters at a moment of rising hate." Michigan Senate candidate HUlR Sayed also backed away from Hiker. In his statement, he wrote, "Anti-Semitism is a scourge, and we need to address it in all its forms." While politicians, pundits try to make this race about a Twitch streamer, that's how he referred to Piker, we're going to be talking about gas, groceries, good schools, and health care. Mike Nellis, former senior advisor for the Kamala Harris campaign, is back with us. Hey, Mike.
Hey, John.
So do you think this is a long-term rebuke of Hassan Piker? Is he on the outs with guys like Hakeem Jeffries and HUlR Sayed?
I think at the moment he should be with a comment like that. It's just not a great place to be in. And I think Hassan, like a lot of people in the DSA wing of the party, need to back away from saying stuff like that. I get what Piker was trying to say, but the way that he's saying it is just hurtful. And the way I always think about this is I just think about all of the Jewish members of the Democratic Party. I think about Jewish people just generally in the United States talking about how uncomfortable and how scared they are. And I had coffee with a friend yesterday who was in tears talking about being afraid to use her real last name when she travels, and she's getting an Airbnb. So I care more about making people safe. So I think Piker's comment was really bad, and I'm glad to see HUlR and everybody else condemn it.
HUlR Sayed referred to him as a Twitch streamer, but they had campaigned very closely together. It just seems a little disingenuous to refer to him as just a Twitch streamer when they were shoulder and shoulder the entire primary campaign.
Well, they weren't shoulder and shoulder. He did campaign for him a couple of times. Hassan is, in fact, a Twitch streamer. That is what his actual job is. He's a content creator. I mean, that's basically it. I don't think it's anything more than that. But HUlR would be wise to distance himself from him, which is what he's doing right now. He's condemned this remark.
There is a lot of energy, though. I mean, we saw kind of the grotesque and disgusting display of Hassan Piker mocking Charlie Kirk's death earlier this week. And when he tried to denounce the fact or backtrack on his previous statement that America deserved 9/11, he said, no, America didn't deserve 9/11. He got booed by the crowd. Yep. That's the energy. I guess the Democrat establishment has reached a point finally where they're saying no to that.
Well, I think a lot of us have been saying no to that for a long time. I mean, HUlR has spoken out against that as well. I mean, most people in the country do not believe that America deserved 9/11, and I think it's silly when people say that. So I think the problem is you get outsized coverage of stupid stuff that Hassan Piker says, stupid stuff that people say on the internet, and very little follow back in these type of segments about when Democrats are condemning it.
All right, let's talk about Hakeem Jeffries. He's in line to be the next Speaker of the House if the prediction markets and polls are correct. Do you think he should wear the hat, though, if he's the Speaker of the House? Does that really say Speaker of the House to you?
I'm not gonna support anybody that wears a Yankee hat. Period. Go Cubs.
That's right. You're from Chicago, so I got to respect you for that. But if it were a Cubs hat, even just the size of it, maybe he should get a different size, or just take it off.
I like a fitted hat. I'm probably not wearing green unless it's St. Patrick's Day, but maybe just grab the first hat in the back of his car. I don't know.
He has promised, and he talked about his meeting with Jared Kushner, and he promised a rig of badges, but now some troops are offering badges through Islamic faith programs. Muslim religious badges are available to girls who learn the 5 pillars of Islam, study the Quran, recite Islamic prayer, and even visit mosques. The programs aren't run directly by Girl Scouts USA, but the organization is recognizing these outside groups and allowing the badges on their official uniforms. Back with us is Terry Schilling, and wanted to get your thoughts on this one, Terry.
Yeah, look, I think this is just more left-wing engineering. This is obviously multiculturalism. I would love to see the equivalent of Christianity within the Girl Scouts. But I will say the Girl Scouts have been getting hurt by this crazy ideology for some time. The Girl Scouts have propped up Planned Parenthood, one of the largest financial backers of Planned Parenthood, which treats our daughters as if they're just sex machines and then gives them abortion pills and all this crazy stuff. And now sex sex change procedures. There's a new group, an alternative that's wonderful. It's called the American Heritage Girls, and they actually learn about this country, what's great about it. And so I would just encourage parents, be really careful about what you let your kids get involved in these clubs, because there's a lot of times it's a much more nefarious agenda than just girls being scouts and having the equivalent of Boy Scouts. Join the American Heritage Girls. They're a lot less controversial and a lot more pro-America.
Tell us more about it. I've not heard about the American Heritage Girls.
Well, there's some chapters here in Northern Virginia, but they're much more focused on what it really means to be a girl in America. It's pro-America. It doesn't hide our scars, but they talk about what America has overcome, the struggle since our founding. They get into Christianity, but it's a lot less politically oriented and politically charged than the Girl Scouts have become.
I think the other aspect of the story tells us is just how pervasive Islamism and the Islamification of American society is, and this is just another example of that. We also have this question of field trips in certain school districts going to mosques. There's a group of parents now suing the Palo Alto Unified School District over a class field trip to a mosque in Santa Clara. Students were encouraged to take part in religious activities. Girls were told to wear hijabs, and all students were given Qurans. Those involved in the lawsuit are parents, and many of them say different faiths or are from different faiths, and they say this crossed the line of separation of school and religion. I mean, Terry, you can't take, according to the law, kids to a church and give them Bibles. That would cause massive outrage here. These parents felt like they needed
Islam or what the Muslims believe in their faith. I kind of want them to understand that. But I think what the reality here is that this is actually attacks against Christianity.
And if you just bear with me 1 second here, let me move this. Move my Teen Talk guide over if anyone would like to see that later. So if anyone has any questions at all, we'll do our best to answer them. Yes, sir.
So, Attorney General, what changes would you like to see Snapchat make? Should they raise the age? What would they do?
So, a couple things. So, the first one right off the bat, and it's important for people to understand the gist of this lawsuit, right? So, I am a parent, but I'm a parent. My son, if he was allowed to, would be on, let's say he's downloading some social media apps. As a parent, I'm like, okay, well, let's see if this is okay for my 11-year-old. Well, there's an age rating of 13 plus. Let's say my son happened to be, 14, right? Okay, well, there's an age rating of 13 plus. That means that this is okay for my 14-year-old to use. What we want, number one, is we want to make sure that the correct information is being provided to the app stores so that rating accurately reflects what a young person's experience will be when they're on the app. So that's number one. That's unbelievably important. There are so many other issues with regard to Snapchat in particular, and I'm sure once everyone reads through the complaint, you'll see many of them. But the way that Snapchat is set up, where the text and the pictures disappear, that creates an entire I'm going to say an entire environment that is rife for child predators to come in and try to get to these children. And so our hope is that there will be safeguards, and we're going to fight for that are put in place with regard to the ephemeral nature of how these pictures disappear. In addition to that, when this lawsuit also covers the addictive nature of Snapchat. I mean, it's not a secret that the whole goal here on part of Snapchat and some of these other companies is to keep children staring at that for as long as humanly possible. Because when the longer someone stares at that, then the more money they can make. And so we want to make sure that the algorithm itself is either turned off or changed in a way or modified so that children aren't constantly being pulled into this purposefully designed system to addict them so that they don't ever stop looking. And so in a nutshell, that's what we're looking for. And I guarantee that as we proceed, there'll be a lot more nuance in that. Obviously, we're also seeking civil penalties. But we want to see a change in the way that these companies are using the science behind them and harming children. Last week, we're right now in the throes of litigation with Meta. Protecting children is one of the absolute priorities of my office, and we're going to continue to do so. And so I don't want to go into great detail on that, but I will tell you that we are actively looking at other companies as well. Yes, sir.
A quick follow-up question, because there are some lawsuits against X, for example, for very similar concerns. Is X in that mix of things that you're looking into?
Any company that's using their product to harm children is someone we're looking at. All right.